everybody, and welcome to Whatcom Reads, an evening with Erica Bauermeister and friends. I'm Kelly Everett.
Hello, and I'm Paul Hansen. We're two of the co-owners and co-stewards of Village Books and Paper Dreams in Bellingham and Linden, Washington. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. We begin tonight's program by acknowledging that we gather on the territory that has been the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Lakhtamish, the Lummi people, Nooksack people, and other Coast Salish tribes of this region since time immemorial.
We honor our shared responsibility to this land and these waters. We commit to learning from Indigenous wisdom, and we strive to repair and deepen our relationships as neighbors and friends. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So we're supposed to get a quick show of hands here. I can't really see y'all.
Just go woohoo or something.
Okay. Oh, good, thank you.
Right.
You know, there are some, okay, before we get into this, let's hear this for the crown jewel of Bellingham. Thank you, Mount Baker Theater. And they're excellent lighting technicians. Okay. So can we get a quick show of hands? Let's see, how many of you have already read this year's Whatcom Reads book, No Two Persons? Oh, excellent. That's fantastic. That way we won't have to worry about giving away the ending. Good, good. Well, for those of you who haven't, there's still time to read the book.
Well, wait, tonight? The show is just starting, Paul.
That's true. It's not that fast to read. Sorry, that was unclear. I meant to say there are copies for sale out in the lobby. And of course, you can check out the in-print and digital copies at your favorite library or your favorite independent bookstore.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For those of you who haven't read the book, or to refresh your memories, if you have, let's give you a brief summary. You may have heard the phrase, no two persons ever read the same book. That every reader brings their own personal perspectives that flavor their understanding of and appreciation for particular titles. The 2025 Whatcom Reads No Two Persons is a celebration of reading and how we all see things from different points of view.
This series of interconnected stories traces a path of a book titled Theo and its impact it has had on various readers in a charming, surprising, graceful, and profound tale that has something in it for readers of all kinds. We look forward to hearing its author, Erica Bauermeister, talk about it tonight.
This year marks the 17th anniversary of Whatcom Reads. I know, that's fantastic.
It's almost coming of age.
Yes, It's almost an adult. This is our community-wide reading program. And since the beginning, Whatcom Reads has been a team effort with representatives from Bellingham Public Library, Bellingham Technical College, Northwest Indian College, Western Washington University, Whatcom Community College, Whatcom County Library System. Yeah, that's what we want to hear. And us, our community partner, Village Books and Paper Dreams.
Yeah, right. That's 7 organizations and a whole lot of people. Truly a testimony to the community and the collaboration we have here. And additionally, major funding for Whatcom Reads come from Friends of Bellingham Public Library. Keep it running. Whatcom County Library Foundation. And additional support from the Western Libraries and Bellingham Technical Foundation, College Foundation.
Yeah, I know.
But wait, there's more. And also you. Because if you bought a copy of No Two Persons, Village Books is donating a portion of the proceeds of every copy that you buy from us back to Whatcom Reads for future programming. And the anthology. Do we have any folks who contributed to the anthology, the book that changed my life, the Whatcom Writes selection? Yeah? Anybody here? Yeah? It's not that big an anthology, so there won't be a lot of applause. But I encourage you to buy the book because there is a piece of Erica Bauermeister's within that anthology, and 100% of the proceeds goes back to Whatcom Reads. So, good. So thank you.
All right. And those books can be found in the lobby. And additionally, there are some of Erica's favorite books that she recommended last night at the Sip and Savor event, which was very fun.
The books that changed her life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after tonight's program, Erica will also be signing her books in the lobby.
So this has been a very busy and invigorating Whatcom Reads with programs about the art of audiobook narration, bookmaking, bibliotherapy, and more. Erica's been here for, I think, 3 days now, and she's been working really hard. I think she still has some voice left, which is fortunate. There's one final event after today with our author before Whatcom Reads draws to a close. So tell your friends, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. is a virtual one. So you can tell anybody not here in Whatcom County. You can visit the whatcomreads.org website for registration information and to get the online link.
Great. There's also a couple other people we do want to thank. We want to thank the Allied Arts of Whatcom County for coordinating the Whatcom Reads Arts Challenge, the Hotel Leo for providing lodging for our author, and of course the Mount Baker Theater for providing the beautiful venue and their incredible staff that are putting this on tonight. And don't forget to stop by the Allied Arts Gallery at their new location at 1213 Cornwall Avenue to take a look at the exhibit of pieces produced as part of the Whatcom Reads Arts Challenge. It's fascinating to see how this book inspired so many people to create.
So many touch points. And speaking of inspiration to create, we're going to kick off this evening with something new and different to the Whatcom Reads programming.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a musical performance of original songs written by the Bushwick Book Club in honor of no two persons. We're pleased to welcome a whole team of talented local musicians to the stage, some of whom have been on the Chucking It Radio Hour. You might have seen them there. And they're going to set the tone for the evening. So you've heard enough from us for now.
Here now is Erica Bauermeister to introduce the Bushwick Book Club.
Good evening, everybody. This has been an astonishing couple of days here. They're right. I have been very busy seeing a lot of you. I'm like, okay. Oh, look at all of you. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Hi. But it is such a pleasure. I don't know if you've had an experience with listening to the Bushwick Book Club before. When I was with Seattle 7 Writers, we did a lot of work with them. It's absolutely marvelous, the responses, the musical responses that they do to books. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Wes Waddell and let him tell you more.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Whatcom Reads. Thank you, Bellingham, and welcome to those watching and listening at home. My name is Wes Waddell. I have the honor and pleasure of serving as Associate Director for the Bushwick Book Club Seattle, which is a 501c3 arts nonprofit in its 15th year staging regular events of original music inspired by the written word. We were thrilled when Whatcom Reads reached out about partnering for this event and delighted to see it all come together and being here with you and the incredible Erica Bauermeister this evening. I know this is a little bit different from your standard author talk, so thank you for coming on the journey with us. Here's how this works. In the first half of the program, you and Erica will be treated to debut performances of original music inspired by no two persons. 6 musicians have accepted the challenge of reading the book, finding inspiration somewhere, love it, hate it, indifferent to it, we're paying you to write something, writing a brand new song and sharing it with you all here tonight. 5 of tonight's musical performers have deep Whatcom County roots. Let's get the one who doesn't out of the way first. That would be me. Okay, different hat on right now. Now I'm a performer. I really appreciate that premise that no two people have the exact same experience of anything really, but especially art. And I think that the question, what were you thinking, is a perfectly valid way to inquire about somebody's experience or response to something that happened or something they saw or read. But it's also a question that is generally asked, at least in that specific wording, with a bit of sarcastic edge to it, as in, what were you thinking? So this book got me chewing on that, and here's where I ended up. In the heat of the moment, with it all on the line, you got options in theory, but limited time. Oh, there's hope in the attic, doubt in the room. So what were you thinking? How did you choose? What were you thinking? When did you know? Why does it take so long for feelings to show? Where did you leave it? Who do I owe? What were you thinking? Why did you go? Deep underwater, with everything blurred, all the air in your tank isn't ready for words. Oh, some call it combat, some call it fate, some float to the surface, some shoulder the weight. So what were you thinking? When did you know? Why does it take so long for reasons to show? Where did you leave it? Who do I owe? What were you thinking? Why did you go? Well, there's cold facts and hot takes, mindful of heartaches, and everyone's playing pretend. Good graces, bad news, decent but dull reviews. Nobody knows how this ends. A delicate balance, a tentative truce. Oh, that hope in the attic could still get put to use. Oh, the longer I say it, the more I believe, the tighter I hold on, the less to retrieve. So what were you thinking? And when did you know? Why does it take so long for progress to show? Where did you leave it? Who do I owe? What were you thinking? Why did you go? So what were you thinking? Why did you go? Thank you. That was Wes Waddell. And this is Marie Eaton with Janet Peterson, right? That's right. Only the best for the libraries. For most of her life, Marie Eaton's creative outlet has been as a songwriter. Marrying melody and lyric, she taught songwriting at Fairhaven College for years and has been a member of the singing group Motherlode for 4.5 decades. Recently, Marie has started writing poetry, publishing 3 volumes in the past 2 years. Marie Eaton with Janet Peterson.
Thank you, Wes. So this book was so fun because the conceit is so interesting that you're following a book rather than a person. And I found the way that I could get into writing a song was to pick one of the characters. So I picked William. And William is a man who, for those of you who haven't read the book yet, William is a man whose wife is terminally ill. And as she's dying, she's reading Theo and making notes in the margins of the book. And later, William encounters his wife again by reading those margin notes. So this is the song William might have sung to Abigail. Every story brings the unexpected. We never guessed you'd have to leave. Then gravity shifted, changed the rules. Now I'm left here to grieve. But everything remembers you. First crocus in the spring, your golden wedding ring, the songs we used to sing, everything remembers you. We'll never share another secret, no more whispers in the night. No more surprises or promises in love letters you used to write. But everything remembers you. Our trail along the brook, the soup you used to cook, notes in margins of your book. Everything remembers you. Perhaps I'll tell another story, gather all the scattered shards, as grief rides along as my companion on this journey long and hard. But everything remembers you, the patch on my coat sleeve, mistletoe on New Year's Eve. These memories never leave. Everything remembers you. The early morning rain, the whistle of a train, the blood traveling through my veins. Everything remembers you. Everything remembers you. Thanks to Janet Peterson.
Marie Eden with Janet Peterson. Up next, Sarah Gooden. Sarah Gooden got her start playing music as the last act for a local poetry reading. So an intimate connection between the literary arts and the musical ones lives with her to this day. You can hear her heartfelt, soulful songwriting every third Sunday of the month. Is that this coming? Yeah, so that's a couple days away. At the Admiralty in Bellingham, as a frequent guest musician on Village Book's radio show, the Chuckin' It Radio Hour, where she sang for Nancy Pearl, among other literary legends. And on April 4th at the Honeymoon, Sarah Gooden.
Thank you. Hello. It's so nice to play with literary people because literary people taught me how to be a good lyricist. And as for this book, I mean, the hardest thing to do was to just pick the one song to write. I ended up writing something like 4 or 5 songs and like 2 angry poems, because at one point I was kind of mad. We're definitely going to share the poems at the after party. It was such an incredible read. And so the greatest challenge that I had was not writing like a Cliff Notes version of the book to a tune, and instead trying to do the thing that the book did, which is bring it all together. And there were so many incredible themes. Anyway, I could talk about this for hours. I'm not going to do that. So I wrote this piece. This is the best of all the ones I wrote. Although there was a really good one, and I called it The Naked Ladies of, what is it, Swimming Room, Changing Rooms, Save Lives. It was really good. It's country and western, you know. So this piece is called One by One, and there's a chorus. It's real basic, and if you want to sing along with it, you absolutely should. It goes, one by one, by one by one, by one by one. One by one, by one by one, by one by one. Gorgeous. You sure you aren't musicians? Okay. We come apart, we come undone, so sure we are the only ones, imperfect and alone in our brokenness. But overwhelmed and underslept, the mother feeds her child. Driven by grief and a need for reprieve, a man runs to the wild. And under the weight of the dinner plates, the little girl told to a table leg. As one by one, by one, by one, by one, by one. One by one, by one, by one, by one, by one, we hide away. You build your walls so high and wide, you lock your secret shame inside, tied to the times you learn to be afraid. Surfacing his deepest wound, the diver cries. She can't stand to be out of control, so the scientist carefully calculates time. And a beautiful man, so afraid of change, cannot bear to be seen again. As one by one, by one, by one, by one, by one. One by one, by one, by one, by one, by one. One by one, by one, by one, by one, by one. I feel their pain. I hold in my breath. I can't make mistakes. So lonesome I cry, but stay so far away. If I have to be brave, then I have to say we're connected, you and me, by more than I could have believed, by more mother's arms, the baby sighs. The warmth of the gift of a scarf protects from that helpless feeling inside. And finally sharing herself at her end, a woman opens her eyes. As one by one, by one, by one, by one, by one, one by one, by one, by one, by one, by one, each alive. The stories unite us. This is how we try.
Thank you so much.
Sarah Gooden. Rolling right along. Up next, we have erstwhile belling hamster Cat Beulah, who is an irreverent Americana roots songwriter, vocalist, and multi-instrumentalist whose songs Cascadia Weekly has described as smart, sassy, sensitive, a rare depth and range. She has also written for Fiddler Magazine and Mel Bay and worked with hundreds of students of all ages around the world, including programs in the Seattle area at Wintergrass, the Rhapsody Project, Seattle Jazz Ed, and Ballard High School. Cat Beulah.
Thank you. Well, for anybody, I couldn't see the show of hands, anybody here who hasn't read the book, yes, there are moments of joy and humor. I'm not going to sing about them either. So Nola is a character that, yes, I'm hearing some, yeah. A young woman who is just trying to finish high school before anybody notices that she is unhoused and on her own. There's that story. No two people read the same book. Part of what I bring to that story is a lot of stuff I'm not going to tell you about, and it's also stuff that I don't necessarily think about that often, but details different, but I do resonate with many parts of her experience in that. And there's a lot of things I love about the way that Erica Bauermeister tells that story, but one of the things that really stands out to me is here's this person who's going through this huge thing and dealing with the end of her childhood coming sooner than she expected it to. And that's not what the primary thing that's occupying her brain space. What's occupying her brain space is what am I going to eat and how am I going to get enough calories that I can stay warm and how am I going to make sure that nobody discovers where I am. There'll be time later for a lot of that processing. And yet, I say this, but there's a part in her class discussion of the book that they're all reading where somebody's saying, well, that's just not what a good mother does. And she says, maybe she's not a good mother, maybe she's just human. And I'm like, yeah, you got there in like a few months? That took me like 20 years to get to. Like, you go, clearly some processing is happening here. I will say one more thing. I keep changing my mind about how much of my personal context to bring, but it is like what this book is sort of about, right? My mother died last year, and my father died a few weeks ago. So I'm in another of these moments of having a milestone that I didn't think would happen at quite the age that I am. And it's really interesting in the same way that you never read a book outside of the context of your life. You never experience your life outside of the context of the collective historical moment, right? And I won't say a lot about that, but there is, For as isolating as it is to be the only living member of your family, there's something weirdly unisolating about knowing that I'm not the only person who is asking questions about how to go on and where to point your brain when the people that you thought were protecting you are changing their priorities. That's all I'll say about that. Here's a song. I thought I had more time to grow up strong enough to hold my own and hold the boogeyman at bay. But this is how it is, so I will play it as it lays. And I thought that I'd be wise before I needed wisdom, and not to just parrot something I'd been taught. But this is how it is, so here I go with what I've got. There's no time to chase my tail or rail about whether it's right. This little kitten's lost her mittens and it gets cold at night. Entropy will always come for those stuck in the past. The past's only as good as what can be salvaged for scrap. I thought I had more time to build some wings from all the pages I could tear out of our history. Become a feathered thing that finally could get free. And I thought I had more time to get to know you, to chart your darkest waters, learn to ride your waves. Time for you and I to both learn how to be okay. But this is how it is, so I will play it as it lays. There's no time to chase my tail or rail about whether it's fair. The clock struck one, the mouse ran down, it's neither here nor there. Entropy will always come for those stuck in the past. The past's only as good as what can be salvaged for scrap. Oh, entropy will always come for those stuck in the past. The past's only as good as what can be salvaged for scrap. And there's never enough time to grow up. Thank you.
Kat Beulah. And now we have Louis Ledford. Worth a woo, I agree. Born in the American South, Bellingham's Louis Ledford has carved out a career composing and performing literate Americana roots music. He has collaborated with Anais Mitchell on several projects, including singing the role of Hades for an early road show performing the songs that became the basis for the Tony Award-winning Broadway musical Hadestown. And tonight, he collaborates with Nora McLaughlin, Louis Ledford, and friend.
Thank you so much. I brought this little instrument out with me, not to play. I'm going to play the melody that came out of this tiny thing on this immense thing. And I just thought maybe you'd like that visual. Makes me wish I had written it on a harmonica. This is Nora McLaughlin. I want to thank the Bushwick Book Club and Wes for inviting me here. I want to thank Miranda for all the hard work she's done. And I want to thank you all for coming and reading books, you know. And speaking of books, No Two Persons is a marvelous novel. I had so much fun reading it. I read it twice, just because I didn't want to miss anything. And yeah, I do want to do one little bit of self-promotion because, you know, it's annoying. So out front, there's the Bushwick has a table, and the only thing I've got out there is our mailing list. And if you like what you hear up here and like what we do, I ask you to please put your address in that book because, you know, for the last 2 decades or so, musicians and artists such as myself have relied on social media. We kind of put all of our eggs in that social media basket, and then social media has kind of become more of a social bummer. So I'm trying to maybe I'm trying to rebuild my mailing list. So please sign it. So it goes. Keep your head above water. Keep your head above water. Find some kind of order in all this disorder. There will be some who are wiser than you. Open your eyes and see how they do. Keep your head above water.
Look out for your daughter. Look out for your daughter. This world you have brought her is more than she bargained for. Yes, she may find a bit of kindness out here. Don't take it for granted, the child is too dear. Look out for your daughter.
Grief is a flower
forged in a fire,
sharper than steel.
Tell me, how does it feel
To choke back the hunger
and swallow the rage, waiting for you on the very next page? Grief is a flower.
Change is inevitable, strangely ineffable, at once unforgettable, but never indelible. Celebrity lasts a moment or two. The future swam past and wants nothing to do with you.
Dare try and save me. If you care, don't betray me. I need you to know I'm ready to go. Don't worry about this terrible fate. save me.
So deep is the water, go deep in the water, compete in the water, eat and sleep water, reach for your heart the size of a fist,
Shake it apart and make a new list.
her words ring clear like a bell in your ear.
Try and draw truth from her message unclear.
The paint, the wood, the wire, the glass,
Without touch, or merely color and trash.
reach deep in your heart. Hello.
Louis Ledford, Nora McLaughlin. I should mention Louis has additional friends. There was a change from the time that slide got built to what happened here. But in case you're wondering, I want to make that clear. We have one more song for you, and then we have a short intermission, and then we have a whole program with Eric Bauermeister. So glad you're here with us. And I want to say some thank yous, because it takes a lot of people and a lot of initiative to pull something like this together. So can we get a hand for Andre, the house manager here, Mount Baker Theater? Topher is running sound. Caitlin is our production manager. Ben and Adam are running the live stream, and there are so many more individuals, ushers, crew, security, that make this happen. I wanted to say a few specific names, but it's a big group, and I wanted them to be recognized, because this is such a treasure in the community, and we're so glad to be here. And can we get a hand as well for Miranda Leon Jones, who is the events coordinator at Bellingham Public Library. Aren't libraries great? That's what I thought. So to send the musical portion, to send you out and close up our musical portion, we have Marie the Band. That's right, it's a 2 Marie night in the musical component here. Marie the Band is a locally grown folk duo featuring Rosie O'Neill, Colleen Freeman, 14 strings, 3 egg shakers, 4 feet, pleasant harmonies, and your smile. Their original tunes and songs pair well with crisp nature walks, exquisite life moments, and good company. Marie the Band.
Thank you, Wes. We didn't incorporate the egg shakers for this one, so you'll have to imagine that part. This was the first song that we've actually co-wrote from start to finish, so it was fun to get to experience that, especially with this book, which we just found so entrancing in every single chapter, and kept track of what captured us as we went along and had a shared note, and then we got together and did some free writing and talking, and I think some of the main themes that emerged in this song that you'll hear are a lot of just the interconnectedness of the characters and the way that there's a lot of intimacy and like importance with the ways that we touch each other in ways that are not predictable and not necessarily known about. And then also the story of the character Alice, who writes this book, and her process with needing to live life a little bit more in raw ways and in hard ways, and get off of the sidelines in order to really connect with her art and her craft. And we lost a very dear friend while we were working on this song, and so I think that was a powerful thing to be processing. And also really fitting in the content that we were working with. So we loved it, and we're so excited to share with you. And I'm unmuted, so that's good. Thanks. Anything you want to add?
Sidelines of life, as much as we may try to stay safely out of the fray, life will find us all. There's not a single moment that doesn't matter somehow. There is a quiet beauty in what we leave behind. We may try to hide in the ocean, in a book or a lover or a song. We may love or deny the world at our side, but because we are here, we belong. Yeah, but they give you mended and you make do all that we make. It makes us two, running in a straight line, living down in the night. How can we see that the threads weave in and out again? Whoa, we may try to hide in the ocean, in a book or a lover or a song. We may love or deny the world at our side, but because we are here, we belong.
Thank you.
Talk about a bunch of tough acts to follow.
Yeah. This is kind of like we're in a living room, but then you guys are all looking at us. It's very strange, but we'll get used to it. Okay. We have questions from you guys.
Yeah, we're going to have a little conversation here, and we've got some questions that we've gathered from the audience at intermission and up until now, and we're just going to talk for about 15 minutes here and try to delve into some of the things that we've talked about over the last few days and maybe a few things we haven't.
Yeah. That'll be great. Well, this has been so fantastic. We've had the pleasure of being with you on the schooner Zodiac and going over questions and interviewing you at the Chucknut Radio Hour. So this is so fun. I get to sit here with you
People
again.
are basically my family.
I know. This is
I don't know if
fantastic.
you guys know, we do an annual books a sale on the schooner Zodiac where we get to go out with an author for 3 days and do a book group at sea. And so we got to share some very small quarters with Eric and her husband, Ben.
And everybody learned I cannot raise a sail to save my life.
Those are pretty big sales.
That was big sail.
So we're looking forward to taking another deep dive with you into this book.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well played.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got quite a few here, but let's see.
Did you want to start with that one?
Oh, let's start with this one, yeah. How did it feel to have your book turned into other art forms? Music, art.
I mean,
And
it's
food.
it's astonishing. I mean, you have to understand. I mean, when we're writing, I write in an 8x8 little studio down in the orchard, and this one was particularly solitary because it was written during the pandemic. And even after it's published, it's really, and I receive letters, and you know that it's reaching people, but to have the responses from you all this week, to have that amazing music, to have that amazing art, it is just, I can't even explain what an extraordinary experience it is, to feel that connection. I mean, I really do feel like a story needs to be told. It also needs to be heard. And I want to thank you all for completing that cycle for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been a wonderful immersion, and I was remembering back, I think it was about 3 years ago when, the book industry has a thing called Winter Institute where we get to talk to authors about their books for the first time. And we went out to dinner in Seattle, and I think you said this was the first time you had talked about your book to folks. Mm-hmm. And I remember very well what you said then. Do you remember what you were talking about at that point?
I think I said
This
it
has
was,
probably
if
changed a
people
lot.
didn't like short stories, it was probably going to be a problem, is what I said. It wasn't a very good promotion.
Well, I know you had talked about extolling all the virtues of the book, and you were being a good steward for booksellers to say, if you're going to recommend this book, then don't recommend it to people who don't like short stories. And fortunately, I'd read it ahead of time, and I said, it doesn't feel like a series of short stories because there's a character that goes all the way through with Theo. And where I was also reflecting, because it was very meta, because it's about a book that goes out into the world and changes and takes a life of its own according to the people that experience it. So how have you experienced that with this book as it's gone out into the world?
Yeah, talk about meta. Do you all remember the Cream of Wheats box, where it's the box in the box in the box? It's like that. You know, I'm out talking to people and hearing their different reactions. I think I've done 75 Zooms with book clubs at this point for this book, and each time they're all talking about who their favorite characters are. By the way, they always think that chapter's the best written chapter, which tells you something. But I mean, just what was lovely is every time I write one of these multiple character books, I'm a little bit on tenterhooks until each character has been taken into somebody's heart. And I can tell you that every single character in No Two Persons has been taken into someone's heart by this point. And then I can relax at that point. Some of them, they've been beaten around the block a little bit.
All right. Our next question. If you could reread any book for the very first time, what would it be?
And have the same experience? Okay. There's a book called Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. And I think I've talked about, some of you may have heard me talk about this earlier this week, but there was a point in my life, I had eye surgery, it had not gone well. This was about 5 years ago. And I didn't think I'd ever write again. And I was having to retrain my brain. And we went on a road trip. which was sort of surreal because the road. Anyway, but I was able to read, and I found Once There Were Wolves at a bookstore, and it was so beautiful. The sentences were so beautiful. The insights were so profound, and I remember just thinking, I will do whatever it takes to be able to write, and I want to write like that. And I should write and tell her that, but I have not.
I read something recently, and you like Atlas Obscura and strange facts, and I was reading about how the difference between humans and ants. I'll get there. So they were talking about how ants work very collectively. Primates they work with tools. Humans are the only ones who do both of those things, and the reason we've evolved to the point we are is because of the stories that we tell and our shared experiences. So with that in mind, or not, what do you feel the role of stories are in our society, and actually reading of fiction in particular?
This is a good debate to have, because lots of times, if you're a fiction writer, you'll have this happen to you. Someone will say, oh, what do you do? Like we Americans always ask. And I'll say, I'm a writer. And they'll say, oh, what kind? And I'll say, fiction. And the response is often, oh, yeah, I read about real things. Or, if the Freudian slip is happening hard, I read real books. And it's taken me a long time to figure out how to answer that question, because I read a lot of nonfiction. My books are heavily researched, as you can tell. A lot of different topics went into no two persons. I have a tremendous library of nonfiction. But what I've learned is that nonfiction is about the how and the what. And fiction is what teaches you the emotional intelligence to have the imagination to figure out the why. And right now, we need the why more than anything else. So you need both. If you're only a fiction reader, I'm telling you, cross the aisle. But if you're only reading nonfiction, you're blinkering yourself. And I want to encourage you to find a novel. We'll all help you find one. It's okay. We're friendly. Booksellers are fantastic for this. But seriously, you can learn as much about human behavior, sometimes even more, from the way an author's mind is able to go because they're not constrained by things that have already happened. So reach out, grab that novel, and read it.
Hurrah. Okay, next question, and I really like this one. Why do you think Pacific Northwest writers often make blackberries a minor character in their books? Who said that? Who asked that question? One of you.
Well, they are in almost every book I write. Yeah, it's true. Because come on. I mean, our summers are longer now, but they used to be pretty short. And those blackberries in August, at the end of August, that was everything you'd been waiting for all year long. And it was just there. So yeah, blackberries.
It's true. It's true. One of the things that you hadn't touched on this week that I hadn't heard is, so there's all these amazing characters in all of the stories. There's the piece about the internet. I found that completely charming and like something between the courses of the meals, and just what was the inspiration for that, and maybe where did you get those reviews?
Well, I made them up. I had some inspiration, but that is how a novel goes out in the world these days. Those Goodreads reviews happen. People are getting advanced readers' copies. There's reviews going out. It used to be there'd just be 2 or 3. There'd be Kirkus, there'd be Publishers Weekly, there'd be Library Journal, and most of those were read by professionals and booksellers and librarians and teachers. And now it's all out there, and I love the democracy of that. I love that now people are having their opinions, they're signing their opinions. Thank you for taking credit for your own thoughts and calling them subjective. I think that's an important thing that we need to be doing more of. And in fact, I was kind of, I felt like it was too bad because I felt as if with this book, I was giving the professional reviewers a chance to have an interesting conversation about their own job. And particularly the reviewers that don't sign their reviews. I'm looking at you, Kirkus. But I mean, where it comes across as this objective reality, when every review, everybody's reaction is subjective. And I think that's marvelous. I think it's great. But I'm still waiting for the professional reviewer to step back and have that meta conversation about their job. But I felt that it was important because that is how we're learning about books these days and how we're kind of passing that torch of, oh, you've got to read this one. So, yeah.
That's true. And that can be probably pretty stressful within itself.
Oh, my first professional review, you can tell I love Kirkus, was from Kirkus about School of Essential Ingredients. We talked about this at the incredible Evolve dinner the first night. Yeah, the phrase pitiless blitzkrieg of metaphors.
Wow.
That stuck with you.
Oh, no. It's only been 15 years. And he used 4 metaphors to describe my pitiless blitzkrieg, by the way. Anyway. Publishers Weekly loved it as much as he hated it the next week. But, that was the first thing that anyone had publicly said about my work. And I wanted to call my editor and say, we have to pull it. It's obviously awful, which I didn't. I went to my therapist instead. And she said, look, this book has been your safe place. This book has been this place where you could be more yourself than you have ever been anywhere in the world. And now you've got to do that inside yourself instead, which was a fantastic lesson. So I kind of thank the Kirkus guy, honestly.
Good job.
License to snark.
Right.
Yeah.
License to snark.
Looks like we might have maybe one more question, but this is more of a talking it through. Your audiobook for this book was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, right? It's a very different experience to listen to it than to read it, and it's great to do both. That's what I did, and it was so fantastic. But can you tell us just quickly about the audiobook experience for you?
Yeah, so all my books are audiobooks, but in the past, it's always been a single reader who has done the whole thing. One of those single readers was Cassandra Campbell, who did my first 3 novels, and I interviewed her extensively as backstory for Rowan, along with several other audiobook narrators. But when the time came to create the audiobook for this one, we completely lucked out. And the producer was this young go-getter man. She wanted to create an Audie-winning award book, which she did. And she said, we are going to get 10 different actors and 1 for each chapter. And she sent me 2 to 3 auditions for each character, and I got to choose. And it's an incredible experience. One of them, William, when I started listening to it, the first couple sentences, I thought, oh, gosh, okay, not quite right. Kind of sounds like a Marlboro Man. Oh, dear. I chose badly. But what was astonishing was that within 6,000, 7,000 words, he had taken this voice on an arc, that by the end of the story, it was the William that he became. And it was just, I don't know if any of you are actors, but that is a tough thing to pull off. So yeah, they were all incredible.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Have you ever wanted to be in an audiobook, to be one of the characters?
I offered to read House Lessons, and they turned me down. I think it was a different publisher, and I think they are, with good reason, leery, because what I learned researching Rowan, and what hopefully you all learned reading that story, is that this is a very difficult profession. You aren't just reading a book aloud, like to your kids. And so I get it. I was a little offended, but I get it. So.
This night is both way too short. It's just way too short. There's so much that we want to talk about. Unfortunately, we have a 9 o'clock, we have a little clock there. We're supposed to be coming to the end here. So one of the things I'm just going to say one more thing. We're very privileged to be able to interact with a lot of authors over the course of our careers. And one of the lessons I've learned is to never gush at the authors because it makes them very uncomfortable. But you're a captive audience, so I'm going to say a little gushing thing in closure here. I love your writing. And there is both an originality to this that I'd never seen before. And when I read this one of yours, I was just so excited because I'd never seen anything like this experience of the books. And I thought you said it in such a metaphorical way, in a literal way, in a universal way. And I just want to thank you for putting this into the world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope you'll still talk to me after this. Okay. So if you, we are going to have to draw to a close. If you know others who would enjoy hearing Erica, so please let them know that we have one more Whatcom Reads event tomorrow. We're going to have to not keep you up too late. She has a virtual interview tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, as we said. And again, go to whatcomreads.org to get that link and send it to everyone you know across the country so they can experience a small magic of Erica.
Okay. And so it has come to an end. But don't leave yet. Oh, they're leaving. Okay. And with, with such a wonderful presentation by Erica, I know you're all, I'm sure you're all raring to start reading Whatcom 2026, right? Yes. And it has become our Whatcom Reads tradition to have the author of this year's book reveal the name of next year's book. So, Erica.
Is it up there? Hopefully it's over there.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, good.
Wait. Ha-ha. I feel like I'm at the Oscars. This is fun. Okay. I want an envelope to open, but what I have is this piece of paper, and you get to be surprised along with me. So, it is my pleasure to announce the 2026 Whatcom Reads selection. It's a memoir. You all can start guessing. Written in 2022, that has been a New York Times bestseller, a winner of the Los Angeles Times Book Prize, the American Library Association Alex Award, and a Read with Jenna book club pick for the Today Show. It tells the story of a 9-year-old boy's harrowing 3,000-mile solo journey from El Salvador to the United States to be reunited with his parents. The little boy, Javier, grew up to be an author, Javier Zamora, and his memoir, Solito, is a deeply insightful and impactful choice for our next Whatcom Reads season. For those of you who wish to get started working on a piece for the Whatcom Writes 2026, the prompt will be family, formed, found, and chosen. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Get home safe and sound.
So ready to get started on that book. Thank you to Erica. Thank you for the Bushwick Book Club and all of the amazing musicians. And thank you for reading.